East London Textiles Arts, they had done a project on Dorset buttons, and we were thinking about how we could transfer some of that embroidery and decoration and style into something that was more accessible for our adults at Art Group. And just to clarify, that our adults, some of them are autistic and some of them have other learning disabilities. And so we discussed material, kind of thinking about something that was going to be quite durable, something that was going to be easy to work with. And decided to work with felt. Felt is material that is, as I said, really durable, really flexible. It doesn't fray easily, so it's easy to kind of work with, especially with participants who might have issues with dexterity. We basically opened up the space for them to embroider any designs that they wanted to embroider. We gave them options to do drawings beforehand. The felt pieces were cut out to circles to kind of emulate the style of the Dorset button. Each participant was spoken to about what they would like to do on the felt pieces. They all had the opportunity to design, but some wanted to do a hamburger, some people wanted to do their initials, some people wanted to do flowers. And what you notice is that some people prefer not to sew, not to do any embroidery. Some would prefer to just do the cutting side of things, sticking.
We had the textile tutor, Sonia Tissiet, helping us. She had provided the template, so we kind of just went from that. It was quite a quick project. At the end, we gave her all the felt pieces that had been created, all the felt buttons, and she took them away, and you do what you guys do with putting them on garments and things.
We actually have about 20 people who have been involved in the sessions since last year up until this point, but regularly, probably I'd say about 12 people come in who have come in consistently and taken part in the project. So yeah.
Our sessions are 2 hours, so usually when they come in, they kind of settle in. Just coming from outside, sometimes they need a bit of time just to get used to the space. There's kind of a settling in period, then we do work, then they might have a little snack, and then we go back to it, and then we finish. So it's not very long, but we do get quite a lot done. I think we've got an incredible range of different skills and different abilities. Some people are really, really into textiles, and having worked with Elsa previously, have done a lot of textiles and embroidery and have made different things. And then there's some guys that are a bit newer and take more persuading to try new things. So we have to kind of think about how can we adapt the process so they can be involved in embroidery as well. Using the textile pens is often what we do, or just getting them using materials that they wouldn't. There's one person I'm thinking of, and they just like using paper, saying we're going to go from the paper to a fabric, and that's like a little transition. So yeah, we can kind of build steps to making sure that others can experience it. But yeah, there's one lady who's very, very good at embroidery and is just very talented. And she's not there for very long, and she gets a lot done.
Yeah, she's just very diligent. Week after week, having just started last year, have seen her continue to work with the embroidery hoop and continue to sew and stitch. And she really enjoys that. And I think when you find that they're enjoying a particular aspect of the embroidery or the textiles, you just let them flourish, let them develop, let them grow. It's not an overnight skill. It's something that does require, time, practice. If it takes longer than the allocated time that we might put into a project, then that's fine. But there are others. I'm thinking about one person who has vocally said that they don't like embroidery and they much prefer to illustrate. But then she's had the opportunity to work on fabric using the fabric pens, and she's really enjoyed that, or heat press printing. She really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, there's one lady who's very passionate about making cushions. So we try and translate that to get her to try embroidery. But she always has an interesting slant on things. And she isn't amazing at embroidery. She finds the hand stuff a bit tricky. But I think the amazing thing about her is she always tries.
Yes.
And she does come up with really lovely stuff, even if it's not sewn on, it's maybe glued on. You still get a great product at the end of it, and the process of her doing it. is really interesting. She's a very, very patient person, so she's patient with herself and the process. So I think she's a really interesting person to work with. So we have such a mix in our group, don't we? Some who
Yeah,
really like it, some who will try it and go, "Oh, it's okay,"
absolutely.
and then
Yeah.
some who are like, "No." So it's very like that. It was really great working with one participant in particular because he hadn't done embroidery before. He just started off by gluing sequins onto the felt and he was happy to do that. But then his support workers were doing embroidery, so I thought, let's encourage him to do it as well. I was holding the felt piece for him and showing him how the needle goes through, but eventually he was able to do it himself. And so I could leave him and he was able to just go in and out. He did a great job and it actually looked really, the stitches were very clear and straight, and it was great to see that progress from just sticking and drawing with fabric pens to actually doing some embroidery. Yeah, I think it was quite a short project, but they really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a good, easy project to ease their way into doing some embroidery.
So yeah, I think it's important just to be adaptable, flexible, give opportunities for the participants to, get involved in one way, shape or form when it comes to textiles, but also just work with what they want to focus on. And I think it's really important that we're flexible enough to allow them to try different skill sets that they feel comfortable working with, but the end result is still these beautiful felt badges, which are again inspired by the Dorset buttons.